ancient and honorable Jefferson Literary and Debating Society, now in its 195th year of perpetual existence.
Tonight's question at hand is the following. Should cultural organizations have an obligation to be political?
Any cultural organization in itself exists due to structural imbalances in power and cultural dominance. Any move towards cultural preservation or advancement stands in direct opposition to the idea of assimilation and therefore implicitly recognizes that racial equity is worth fighting for. Collegiate cultural organizations have an obligation to be political because on college campuses especially, cultural organizations can uniquely advance intersectional solidarity by being politically active.
When looking at the definitions set out by our esteemed opponents, I think it's important to note that when a cultural organization is political, what they are doing is making an organizational position clear about how a member should impact public policy or institutional policy. For my first point, cultural organizations being political can alienate members. You cannot assume that any group of individuals that share a similar cultural background will share a similar political background. Being apolitical is a decision, but having the ability to form your own beliefs is an important part of being a student, a member of a cultural organization, and a citizen at UVA.
Does being apolitical affect the most marginalized of cultural groups?
So I think that's a fair point. The way I would respond to that is, first of all, if there is a subgroup that its views aren't being represented, especially with a need for politics, I would say forming another organization might be a great idea. It's been done successfully in the past and it could be done again. I also think that those particular members should still be supported and empowered by others in the community, but it doesn't need to be done on an organizational scale that might not be applicable to everyone in the group.
Wouldn't forming another organization as a group of marginalized members of an ethnic group still be a cultural organization?
How does this possibility of groupthink absolve any organization, forgetting about cultural organizations in general? How can the possibility of groupthink absolve an organization from political obligation? Speaking to the US government, does the US government, because there are people in it and it's possibly going to fall to groupthink, have no political obligation?
I think from speaking as a member of cultural organizations, I think groupthink should be taken with because not everyone in a cultural organization wants to be political. We can't force people to be political. We can only encourage it. It's a statement, but we should empower our individuals to make those statements. Organizations don't have the obligation. We have the obligation to be political. We have the obligation to ensure that our individuals are political.
Going back briefly, you mentioned that you necessarily believe that members of cultural